Real news. True, honest, and not fake news.
And actually, this has been a very interesting news week.
Has been.
Yeah, there's been a bit of an incident that happened at what was it, like a high school a couple of days ago, something like that.
Yes, there was a school shooting at the Parkland high school in Florida, Parkland to be specific. 17 people were killed, 15 injured. The cops caught the guy after he fled the scene. And since then, there's been a lot of gun control debate and a lot of fake news spreading.
Well, here's the thing I'd like to go now. So this guy, he was I guess he'd be like he was like a troll on the internet, and he was sending messages to YouTube, and he said like he was going to commit this act of mass murder, and like someone reported to YouTube, then they reported to the FBI, and this was like in September. So the FBI knew about this. They had all the information available to them, but you know what they decided to do instead? They decided to go and attack Trump over a PP dossier. They were going after this whole Russia scandal, and when they had a school shooter that they could have been investigating. And this guy had a very checkered history with the police.
Yeah.
He was being very, rude. He was like, I think it was like 30 times the police were called to his house, and he was
Jesus.
I think he was like saying like he was depression. He had all this and that. This didn't have to be a gun control debate. This should be an issue of the FBI doing their job. And I think a solution to this would be to find the people who should have looked into this and say, hey, you're fired.
You're fired.
Just fire them. The FBI just needs to have a complete shakeup. They're not doing their job. We've had these terrorist attacks, and there's been all these red flags, but no, they keep going after the commander in chief. They need to be fired. They need to be fired yesterday. There's no reason for them to be doing this like prioritization that's just completely off kilter.
Yep. They've been more worried about Russian trolls and Russian bots that have had no influence on election than actual school shootings are about to happen. This was pretty clear. This guy had his name on his YouTube account saying like, yeah, I want to be a school shooter, and they did nothing about it. The FBI looks really bad after this. I think Florida Governor Rick Scott was calling for the head of the FBI to step down, to resign. Like, it's getting that bad.
Oh, he should. And here's another thing too. Like, this whole issue should have never happened. This school shooting. They knew that this guy was a threat. The teachers saw him walking onto campus. What should have happened would be I don't even know how he got into the school building. If I was the school, and here's how to solve these issues. We solve them with sensible security policy at the school. Instead of limiting everyone's rights in the whole country, we could go and just secure the school, limit. And it's not even really doing that much. It's just a simple technology. It won't even be more than maybe at most like a few $1,000s for the whole school. And you'd probably want these things in there anyways. And most, like I know my high school, we had technology that in procedures, policies and procedures and technology, we had a whole like system in place to protect against school shooters. We had regular school shooting. Well, we had drills of, several varieties. I don't think we really practiced that one too much in my high school, but what they could have done, they should have I'll lay out a detailed plan of how to fix this issue. So the first part, they see the student coming. They have the people at the office. They click a button. Well, but even before then, it should be automatically the doors are locked. The doors are locked outside of, there'll be like an hour when the students come in, and they'll be automatically locked like when they're leaving. But unless that's happening, that should be it should be locked.
And they should do it in a way like that. They did this in my school where it's like a box. Like you walk in through one door, but you're not in the school yet. There's still another layer of doors to go through, and you lock them in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why he was even able to get into the school. Like they had, like there was, you'd have that sort of design, and then you would have a door for the office, and that was like a DMZ sort of zone where you would have to go and get buzzed in. And they had a metal door over there that you wouldn't, even if he did like shoot through that one, you wouldn't really be going anywhere. So like that'd be protected. They saw this guy coming, he'd have to go and buzz in, and they would have just stopped him there. They would call the police. They would have put the school on lockdown. And, I don't know what the particular school situation was, but most schools, you should only really have maybe, a couple entrances and exits to the school building. You'd have the front, and you'd maybe have like a back entrance. And if you had any other doors, you just keep them locked all the time unless a school like if a school teacher does need to go and get out, they can type in a passcode or something. And honestly, how often like do you even really go outside? Like other than like if it's a gym class, that's fine. They can ease, and they did that at my high school. They just typed in a little code, boom in, boom out. That would go and like completely eliminate.
They had swipe keys with mine. Like the teachers had these little like cards, kind of like we have here at school, and you start swiping.
And it's good too because it prevents students from like coming into school like really late and like it'll keep kids more accountable. So it's another
benefits.
Another bonus. Like, I mean, the only time I would have ever seen an issue would be if you need to go out of school for like if you want to go and like film for like a film class. But that you could easily do that too if you had like a student card and then like you tell the teacher when you'd be out, and then you could just go and talk to the office and they let you back in. It's very simple to go and do, and it'd be limited in the amount of disruption it would cause. And this is a public school too. I think honestly, to fix this, I think all public schools should have, there would be a situation where you would have some sort of body that would go and they go and look at the school and they go and test their security policies. They go and have like I guess like an auditor come in.
Oh, it's like a test, like a fake, drill or something. Because they actually, did you hear at this school, they apparently had like a SWAT team do a procedure through there? Like a few weeks before it happened?
Well, I want to know is why didn't they follow their own procedures? Did they automatically lock the doors?
I don't know, but I think they did like a test run and they like changed things up or something. It was really bizarre.
The school, well, yeah. See, that's a little bit strange. Like
it's strange.
There's a little bit of inconsistencies with that then. But I think that they should have a situation. You go and they have this guy come over, and I think every public school should have this done. There'd be like a chance, it's like getting audited when you do your IRS. Like they won't go to every school, but they need to be aware. And if they fail this test, then they'll lose all their federal funding. Because this is important. It's not even just for mass shooters. What if there's a pedophile? What if there's other gang members who are going to school? It's not just this issue. There's so many other issues, and you need to go and protect your students. And then another thing too, if there was a school shooter, they could go and have like little lockers for or like allow professors to have guns on them. I think that would be a simple situation if they have in Pennsylvania have the LTCF, a license to carry firearms. You could go and have this license, and that would prevent the school from you go and have that, and the kids won't need to know. You just keep it concealed. Then maybe have like lockers with like in case they do have like a bulletproof vest. You'd have like a locker in the school, and like the teacher would go and type in the code, then there'd be like a rifle over there.
Yeah, but what if the gunman comes in, puts a gun to the teacher's head, says unlock it, and give me the body armor?
No, there won't be body armor. There'll just be a gun in there.
Oh, you're saying gun? Well, he could do that too.
Well, he probably if he
knew the school. Well, that's the thing.
He'd
he
have
might
to
not
break
know the
into
school.
the school first.
Yeah.
And he already had to have a gun, so I mean.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying to take away that defense mechanism, he could do that.
Well, yeah, but you have to already get into the school, and like by that point.
Yeah, the teacher would hopefully have the gun by then. But here's another way to look at that.
Like if he's concealed carry, and there would be teachers who are concealed carrying him. There would be a like.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a special like little locker, and they would have these, these kits.
Yeah.
These anti-school shooter kits, and maybe even better, like what if they had like a system? How we have sprinklers. Like if they have a system, they go and click on like someone in the office clicks an alarm, and it would just go and shoot out smoke.
Yeah, that's another way. Just gas it so that.
Oh no, not just like smoke, not gas them, just like smoke. Like you don't want to. That'd be a little bit.
No. That's not what I meant by gas. I meant by gas is like you shoot sleepy gas in, so everybody in the room goes to sleep.
No, that doesn't. You know what they use in sleepy gas?
What?
It's like that'll kill people. They did that in Russia.
What? Sleepy gas kills people?
Yeah, it can.
I didn't know that.
Well, it was putting you to sleep a little bit
more.
more.
Don't they use that at doctors? I've never had it to me, but
yeah, you have to have like a degree to use that, and you have to calculate all these things like body weight. It's not. They tried that in Russia, and there was like Chechnya back in like the 90s, I think. And the Russian military, they saw this hostage situation. They put this like sleepy gas in there, and it kind of like killed half the hostages.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's why the Russians don't get too many terrorist attacks, because they'll end up killing half the hostages. But no.
Well, I want to add quickly to your idea of the people having guns in the school. You could also like hire veterans who are they don't have any, they might not have a job or whatever, and they're done with their service. You bring them to the school. They already know how to use guns, and they're like a security guard.
Well, the school already had security guards. I want to know, like, here's
mine doesn't. My high school just had this one guy that listened to jazz all day. and monitored cameras.
We
Like,
could just
he
have
wasn't
the-
a guard. He didn't have a gun.
Well, here's the situation. Like let me go and break this down. So by the minimum viable product. Okay, so the very easiest thing you do is just have a system in place where all the doors are locked until you, except for in the mornings and in the afternoons for like an hour or however long, like for a limited amount of time, and every other time it's locked. That whole system.
That's a good first start.
That system, it wouldn't even be that expensive. Like my brother has a door where you can like lock it and unlock it remotely, and you just have it like, if it's automatically just like locked, and like even then you could just have it completely locked normally, but then you just have someone like prop it open at the beginning, have people hold the doors open or whatever at the beginning, and just like close them, and then
That's kind of what they did at my school.
and then you could be able to go into the office, and that'd be the DMZ, so that like any visitors or any students who come in late for whatever reason, they go through the office. And that would be, that'd be very cheap. Very
and have metal
cost-effective.
detectors there.
Well,
Have
no,
metal
here's
detectors.
the, you don't even need metal detectors for that part.
Well, no, I'm saying also like if they're hiding the gun, like they'll
Well,
beam.
no, well, I think that's a little bit too far with the metal detectors.
Well, why is it? Why?
Because there's like a lot of times, like what if someone's on the baseball team? What if someone has a computer?
Well, that's obvious cases, and they check and they see it. And
Well,
they
yeah,
go,
but
it's computer.
But
oh,
see
it's
that,
baseball.
and those are expensive, and they it'd be like a TSA line every time you go into school. Like this is.
I don't care. It needs to be safe.
Schools. You know how like seldom school shootings happen.
That's true. It's very rare.
It's
very
extremely
rare.
like of all the deaths, there's like maybe like a couple hundred people a year, maybe.
Yeah, I it's funny you mentioned that, like on CNN. You know what they did to really make it look worse than it was, but kind of didn't? There was like a part on their homepage, I'll pull it up right now, that was looking up, how many school shootings had happened, I think, this year. 1 second, I just need to look this up real quick, because this is actually a very important thing. It shows how the media manipulates everything. Oh yeah, it said this keeps happening again and again, and it showed back from 1992 like all the school shootings that have happened. Now when you look at the list, and it's pretty clear, this is what it go. Okay, we have one from 98, 2 killed, 13 killed, 1 killed. This is going like by each one. 2 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 5 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed, 1 killed. There's so many ones where it's just one person killed.
Yeah, like
That's not a mass shooting.
Honestly, like
it's just a shooting, and that's what they're calling it. I'm
And
like, well,
thing
it
is,
makes it look a bit worse than it is.
well, the thing is, I feel really bad for everyone who's involved, but the thing,
Absolutely, yeah,
but
it's
the
terrible.
thing is with like school shootings, there's such an outlier, and honestly, it's just like it creates more steam than it honestly should. Like, dude, more people die on the streets of like Chicago every day, but people flip out over this, like, oh no, there's a mass shooting. Like, yeah, that.
What about opioids? How many people die of opioids every second?
They kill themselves from that. That's kind of on their end.
Yeah, but it creates suffering for everyone.
Well, yeah,
and
but
it's still
they
a
shouldn't
problem.
be. People. I think people, if they want to go and do drugs, like they're killing themselves. That's their fault. Like this, it's like
That's
one of
true.
the things. Where
That was a
someone
bad example I brought up, but still, it's like we put a lot of focus and
What
attention
about
on
illegal
one thing.
immigrants who are killing Americans? What
MS-13.
about Kate? What about Kate Steinle? Wait, was it Kate Steinle?
I thought you were thinking of a different Kate. Oh, yeah, Kate Steinle.
Yeah, what about her? Like,
Yeah.
why didn't people flipping out about that? And he ends up getting out of prison. If this, I wonder
Yeah.
what would happen if this guy was an illegal immigrant.
Oh my God!
Would they?
You
what
wouldn't
would
hear
left
about
have
this
done?
anymore. You wouldn't hear
What
about.
about and like they had that one black guy who shot up a church several months ago.
Yeah, that one's
And
kept
no
quiet.
one talked about it because he wasn't a white school shooter. And
He
did
wasn't
not-
a white
It didn't
male.
go with their narrative. And there was like
Nope.
there was a gay black guy on like a news. He was in a news outfit. He was like on air, and then he ended up like killing his co-host.
Jesus.
And no one talked about it.
That's weird.
But,
I didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, this was I think like a year or two ago, and nobody talked about it. But like I think it was like the same year that they had like Dylan Roof come out. But of course they're talking about him. They don't go and talk about
That's just stupid.
the radical the guy who went and shot his co-host because he was gay, and he had I bet he had gay flags over there, and they're not trying to go and ban that, are they?
Yeah.
But they have some guy with a Confederate flag who tried to do that, and they're trying to go and ban that, and everywhere's taking those away.
Well, yeah, and that's what this gets to is the fact that the media loves to take something and make it bigger than it really is, because they have 24/7 coverage. They're always putting the shooter's picture and name out there all the time, which encourages people, I think, to do it because they'll be famous. The way you should become famous in America is by either being a celebrity or by being an assassin. this is what these people do, and they become famous. And you see it, it keep happening over and over again. I think because of that, and because of the drugs these people are taking. These people are depressed. They're screwed up in the head, obviously. So what do they do? They either do weird stuff, or if they go to the doctors, what are they going to do? Doctors don't know how to treat this stuff, so they throw drugs at it. They just throw pills down their throat, and then I think the pills and the drugs, these antidepressant drugs, are what putting them over the edge to actually do these sort of things.
Well, see, we do have a big drug problem in America. The prescription drugs are probably some of the worst. Like some of these antidepressants, it makes you like absolutely insane, and they don't tell you about it. They don't have like, it's not like heroin with the withdrawal, but like if you don't take it, like it's even like worse.
Oh, really?
Like you won't want to take it, but you'll have to. Like some of these withdrawal symptoms, like it's crazy. Like, I mean, some people it helps, but like, they're over prescribing because they don't, what people need is guidance. Like there's so little guidance, like just over here, it's very difficult. They want to go prescribe you this, prescribe you that. There's other ways for you to, learn to be better. Some people, it'll help if you give them drugs.
Yeah, some cases it does help.
These drugs are dangerous. They're very dangerous, and people don't know the risks. They're like, oh, this drug will make me feel better about myself. This will make me do this.
But it'll also have a 50% chance of suicide. It's like, jeez. Like you listen to those ads.
Antidepressant drugs makes you kill yourself.
I know.
Like, why would you want to take that? That's just like counterproductive. I've seen it, like, oh yeah, if you take whatever drug, happy pills, there's a fit, if you have
the red pill,
you may have increased suicidal thoughts or actions. Well, maybe I don't want to take this drug. Maybe I have a drug that doesn't give me suicidal thoughts.
Yeah,
or
that'd
actions.
be nice. Like, have you listened, like, after, how always, like, during, like, the evening news, they have all those drug ads? You spend half the ad listing the side effects, and suicide always comes up. Thoughts of suicide, suicide, depression, sad thoughts. Like, it's all kinds of stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I believe in capitalism. I believe in the free market. But
how dare you?
They're not allowed. They're not allowed to go and have cigarette advertisements on the televisions anymore. You don't see any of those. You don't see the Camel guy. But then you see some of these like anti-depression ads. And why are they targeting people? They should be targeting doctors, not people. There's no reason why you should tell your doctor what drug you need.
That's true. Because all these you need prescriptions.
Like that's the one. That's like the thing. Like they want to go and talk. Oh, look at gun control. Look in Europe. Well, shoot. Look at Europe with their drug advertisements. They don't have them on television.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't. They're not allowed to do that.
It's probably a good thing.
And you see probably a lot less of this.
Oh, and where do you see less mass shootings? If you believe the way the statistics are drawn, Europe.
And see the thing is too, like look at China. They have like mass stabbings. Or if it's not guns, there'll be something else.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, you ban all the guns. You're still gonna get guns. Number one, and two, you could use a crossbow. You could use a knife. There's many explosions. Cars.
You can print out a gun these days.
Well, that's kind of BS-y.
No, you can do that
if you have the right materials and very expensive printers.
No, dude, you can get like a MakerBot for like probably a couple.
Yeah, but they can't. No, somebody tried to print one on the internet, and you can't do it.
You can do that.
It melts the plastic.
They have some like you won't. They like what was it, that Liberator one that Defense Distributed I think made it. It was a while ago.
I don't know. I just saw a guy that tried to make a lower. I think he did multiple things. He first tried to make a lower for his AR, and that didn't work. And then I think he tried to make a pistol. It doesn't work.
They had one that did. I know they did. Like the guy printed out and you can.
But it is possible.
And these are becoming cheaper and cheaper though. Like you can buy metal. You can start buying metal ones these days. I've seen a few of them.
Okay, yeah. If you have metal, then that's you could probably make a gun. But because that's the thing is like it's becoming cheaper and more user friendly. And if it becomes more idiot proof, idiots can use it. If it's idiot proof, you're gonna have crazy people doing this stuff.
Well, that's what we're going to go and live with. People freedom. I believe in freedom. And if it means some like crazy people getting access to things, maybe we just need to go improve our resilience.
We need to be better. Yeah, society needs to be better.
We need to have better security policies. It's not very, there's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of things the school could have done to go and prevent these mass shootings, but they didn't do. They could have had if they had any sort of security policy, they saw the guy coming. The doors would have been locked, so the guy would have had difficulty.
Yeah, there would have been a struggle. Yeah, he would have. See, that's the thing is like, okay, he has struggled to get in. The kids could have gotten the heck out of that school, run away somewhere.
Well, no, but the thing is, like, they tell you to go and bunker down in the school.
That's BS. That's the stupidest thing.
And they tell you to do that.
No, at my school when we did a drill, I kid you not, this is what happened. So I'm sitting in my lunch, room eating and whatnot, and in my lunch area at high school, so like if you're in it. To the left, there's a door that gets you out of the building. You go out right away. Like, you only have to walk like 10, 20 feet. You go to the right, and there's this long hallway, very long hallway to like classrooms and stuff. And when we had lockdown drill and I was having lunch, you know where they had us go? They didn't have us go left. right outside. They had us go right down the long hallway all the way down to the wrestling room. And they had us all crouching there. And I thought, if this was a real lockdown, I would have said F this and ran out of the building. Because you got to get away from the danger. Why keep us in the danger zone? That's where we're going to get killed. I'm not going to do that. I don't care what they say to me. I'm getting out of there. I don't care, because that's the safest place to get out of the place where the shooter is. Of course, he could be out there, but odds are he isn't. And I can make a heck of a lot further running or farther running out that door than I do when I'm trapped inside. And last thing I want to mention before I forget is when you talk about like we should be helping these people basically instead of giving drugs. You notice how the left used to say that about like drug addicts, like they're in prison, like, oh, don't imprison them. Mass incarcerations are bad. We should be helping these people. But then they don't want to help, people that are on these antidepressant drugs. They want to give them drugs. They don't want to help these people. But they want to help, drug addicts with illegal drugs. Like, inconsistency of logic here.
Well, here's another thing too. Here's like another like sort of scenario. Like, let's say the guy, he go and walk around and he go and like try to break through a window. Like they would have seen him on campus and they would have called the police. The police could have detained him before that, and they would, and maybe like let's say he did go into like he's going by the window. They go, the teachers in that classroom, they run the heck out of that classroom. They put the school on lockdown. They put the blinds up. As soon as they hear the lockdown, and they need to go and have a different noise. So I heard that they thought it was like a tornado drill or something, or like it was like something else other than a school shooting. They need to go and have it say, there is a like a code scramble or something.
Yeah, because here's the other thing. I remember one of the eyewitness accounts said, I don't believe this one because I sent you this on Facebook. This girl was claiming like that there were two shooters, and one of the things she said was that the superintendent came over. Or the principal, whoever, came over the intercom and said, this is a code red or whatever, and said, everybody, this is lockdown. Everybody needs to get it down. Now, that happened during drills in my school. But if there's an actual shooter there, is the principal going to be in his principal office, like, telling you this? It should be like a button he presses, like, automatically sends it out.
Yeah, he should have, like, it should be like the big red button with the president. You go and click, he opens up the thing, clicks it, closes the lid.
Yeah, and it's like a pre-recording.
There will be a pre-recorded message. They'll automatically call up the police, and they'll send like a code to the police or something.
Yeah.
And you go and coordinate with the police about this. And they have security people on campus, and they go and I guess the teachers probably should have some form of like walkie-talkie with them or something, or like an intercom. So if they did notice a shooter, they'd say where he is.
Phone somehow.
Yeah, and like if he did go and shoot through a window, and they'd have some sort of like you have ADT, and it'll go, if you have a break in the window, it'll go and say, hey, this window's broken. And they could go and have that in the school. And I mean, that would be a little more expensive, but how much money these schools get. They should be able to go and afford this. And, any school coming forward needs to have this in there.
Yeah, so safety's number one to spend money on.
Like it's something important, but even with that, like just the chances, like
it's a little much.
It's extremely rare for this to happen. Like for a given school, like it's gonna happen to some schools, but you should have, if they would have just had a automatic, like how'd the guy even get in? Did he just walk through the front door?
I think so, because what we didn't say in the beginning was that he was actually used to go to school. He's an expelled student because he was crazy. And people knew he was crazy.
They shouldn't have let him in.
I don't know how he got in. I mean, at my school, what you had to do it was pretty easy. You go up to the front door, and there was like a little box with a button on it. You press the button, it goes boo doo 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 doo, and there's like the security guy there, and I guess he looks at you. I don't know what happens, but then you hear click, and the door's unlocked, and you walk in. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. As long as you look like a student, you get in.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, the guy should see if they are going to have any metal detectors, that would be where the metal detectors.
Well, that's what I was saying.
You have it like for the people who come in like later, they will have to be metal detected. And there will be
a good solution.
And and that you'd only need one metal detector versus a bunch of them, and it wouldn't cause massive traffic jams.
That's a good idea.
School. And then you'd have,
because most of them don't come in and do this when the school starts. They might do that,
and there will be a security guy. He won't have he will have a rifle. The security guy in the office, or there will be a rifle in the office.
And he's in a bulletproof case.
And he will have a bulletproof vest, maybe have a pistol on him, but there will be a rifle in that office in case someone has. And it will be, he's gonna have like a AR-10, like it's the one that shoots 308 rounds. So it will go. Yes. It will definitely go through unless he has some like crazy like bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
But even then, if you're that close, it's probably you're not gonna have a good time. You have like steel tip bullets that will penetrate through that.
Oh yeah. But it's just weird thinking about like right now.
And he will be over there, and they'll go metal detect. And if he tries to go and pull out a gun or something, he will not be the only one who has he won't be the only one with a gun in there. There will be another person with a gun, like one of the secretaries or something, or like someone else in that room will have a gun and they will neutralize him.
Yeah.
And there will be like a silent alarm over there, and someone just goes and clicks, and it will lock down the whole school. Every single door in that school will be locked. If a teacher needs to go out, they'll have to go and like slide something, just in case. But every single door will be locked, so it'll be very difficult for the for a mass shooter to go room by room. And if someone did like shoot through a lock or something, it will go and pop up on a like a computer screen or something somewhere, so like, that where the shooter is at any given time. So when the police do come, they will come over there, and the students need to be taught to exit the building.
Yes.
Instead of just staying in there and just like being fish in a barrel. Yeah. You'd be taught to exit. And like here's the thing too, like I've even looked at like Penn State's. I think Penn State is like a plan or policy or something. I think it was Penn State, and it was like, throw your worst case scenario, throw your books at the.
My math textbook's gonna take him out. Headshot plus 50.
Well, I mean, to be fair, some of these books probably would do something. They're so big.
They're heavy.
Like a 1,000-page book. Like I guess if you're like a pre-med student, they probably don't want to be hitting that.
No, I would try that, but I would take like a fire extinguisher and like whack him over the head. Like that's what I would want to do.
Books are not going to stop a school shooter. Like no, like that's not going to happen. You need to be able to you need to either one knock him out or disarm him. You need to have someone in that class, maybe a professor, like professor or a student, like someone in any class over the size like 20 at Penn State should have a firearm, whether it be like a student.
Dude, I don't want my liberal professors having guns.
Well, like you're gonna have
you're a Trump supporter. Shh.
I
know it's not gonna happen.
You never know these days.
Yeah, I know.
But no, like you have like a student, and like or like a designated student, they'll have they'll go through like special qualifications. They'll be heavily tested, and they will be given that privilege.
That's what I'm saying. They should have like a veteron, like a retired veteran.
Well, like no, they have students over. We have students.
We'll give them a job. It's a job opening. It's a job opening.
We're adults over. I don't see why we can't. We're full-fledged adults, those of us who are 21.
Yeah.
If you have a license to carry a firearm, why can't you go and do it in over here? Why can't you go and defend yourself if the school's not going to be, responsible for that? Then why can't you be responsible for your own self? If you're not going to have a security guard in every classroom, or you're not going to have like at least someone to protect yourself, why can't you go and take that into your hands? If the school's going to disarm you, either like, and then if something did happen, if God forbid we ever had an incident over here and you're legally forbidden from, defending yourself, I would sue the crap out of the school.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're taking away, but you sign a contract, I guess, coming here to give up your rights.
Well,
basically.
it's a public university. I don't see how they're allowed to do that.
Thing, yeah.
Like, I think if you had if you're a good enough lawyer, you can do literally anything. But I think if you had a good enough lawyer, they could make a case, at least for this issue. Yeah.
Before we close the segment, I want to say, I was just thinking, it's really just bizarre to me. It's like, why these guys are targeting schools. I know you can't try to understand these type of people, but it's really screwed up and it's just really weird. I think part of it's, that's how they get famous, because it's such a dramatic and sort of tragic event of such proportion because you're killing children, that's what's going to be on the 24/7 news coverage of CNN. But it's so weird. I don't know. It's so disturbing.
Yeah, we have, it's just been done so much, and they're like, oh, yeah. I guess too, it's usually high schools. I mean, it does happen at some colleges like Virginia Tech, but I think it might be
it's more of a high school and elementary school thing.
Well, the thing is too, if you get bullied in school, you're not allowed to go and defend yourself. You just have to go and bottle up, or else you'll get in trouble. Yeah. I think, if you're able to go and if you're able to get back in fights, defend yourself at least. I think that'd be better because you're told, oh, you can't go and fight that, you can't go and have any sort of discussion. They limit you so much.
Yeah.
And they don't do a good job at and I guess there's a bullying issue too. A lot of people are bullied, and
Combine, that was the case of Combine,
and they can't fight back. If you're a bully, it's not like in the back of the day.
The power.
That's probably one of the reasons why you didn't see as much, and you have a lot of these people on these powerful antidepressant drugs.
Yep.
And then now they see it over the media. It's like, oh, there's this guy's a school shooter. With this, it was only 17 kids, 20 kids, something like that.
It was 20.
20 kids.
Or sorry, 17. Sorry.
17.
It was actually the most of a high school. That was actually one of the most of a high school, I think.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't seem likely, but that's why it's a little bigger than ours. But final thing I'm going to say was. I think what we learned from this is that it's not one factor that's causing this. There's multiple factors here that are at play, and people try to simplify the issue to just guns or just this. That's not the case. So what do we want? We have now a unscripted section of the show. Not saying they were very scripted before. We usually just have topics laid out.
No, we were a different show this time.
But we are a different show this time. And last segment, we kind of just talked about things that we had generally, in our heads. But now we have nothing. We're just going to go in.
And so let's talk about this Black Panther movie. I heard it's been making some
The We
waves.
Was Kangs movie.
Like it's just like, oh my god! Like people are like the media is like all in a buzz. Like it's like the most like progressive movie, so diverse with a 90% black cast.
Yes.
No, you can't be diverse with a 90% X cast. That's the opposite of diversity.
I know.
How can you do that?
It's not, but because it's all black people, it makes it diverse.
Well, that's
because it makes Hollywood diverse.
Well, see, they keep saying, oh, if you say diversity is covered for anti-white, it's fake, but they literally mean it.
Yeah.
They literally said like that's not even just this. I've seen it with like another thing. It was like, oh, look at how diverse these models are. They're all black and they're all women. They're all, from what I could tell, I looked at their like whatever stuff I could find on them in their Instagram stuff. They're all like, straight black women. And how is that diverse?
Well, yeah, and this movie has a black ethno state.
Oh.
Wakanda is a black ethno state with black nationalism. Like, what are they talking about?
Then it was so stupid. Like I keep seeing these memes. It was like, oh, that's cute. I have 3. It was like Tony Stark, like Batman. He has like $60 million or something, or $1 billion. Then like Iron Man has like like 100 billion.
Yeah.
Like 200 billion. Then like frickin' what's his face?
The We Was Kangser.
Yeah, whatever his name.
I don't know his name.
The Black Panther.
Yeah.
He has like $3 trillion. Like
What?
Like
where did he get it from?
Like no, that's the most stupidest thing. Like no. Okay, that's
no. You wanna know why?
Like, this is like just outside of the realm of like logic. Like this is just unrealistic.
Well, you know what they're claiming is because we make the joke of We Was Kangs, but that's what this movie literally is. Because they're saying that if Africa wasn't colonized by the evil whites, this is what it would be.
No. No, like now see,
no.
You have to go and look at history. Like what was like sub-Saharan Africa before the Europeans came over there? Let's be real.
It was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, like look at South Africa. Let's go and take a little look over there. Who was living there? We had like it was very sparsely populated. It was maybe like a very small population of San peoples over there, and they'd be hunter gatherers. They were like, I think they're like some sort of like tribal nomads or something.
Yeah,
they had no real permanent settlements in South Africa. The first people to really sell that would be the whites, and that's the funny thing too, because you see all these like these black nationalists in South Africa. Oh, let's go and kick the white man out of South Africa. Let's do this. We were this is our continent. Oh no, you guys weren't here in South Africa. And the people who are saying this, they are like like Matabele, they're like Zulu. They weren't there. They didn't start. The Zulu weren't there until like the 1800s. The South African, the Boer people, they were there since like the 1600s. The white people were there first. They were in South Africa before a lot of these people. The only people who could say that would be the Sand people, and the other blacks make fun of
people.
The Sand,
like in Star Wars.
The sun, like and the other like ethnic groups, the other black ethnic groups in South Africa, they're really racist towards the Sand people. It's not even funny. Like Jesus. I saw Lauren Southern did a video on it, and like
her documentary looks good.
Like, and I have a couple friends from South Africa, and they've been from South Africa. They've been to Rhodesia. They lived in those countries back when supposedly when they were all evil and whatnot, and. Like according to the West, according to the liberal, ultra liberal West, it was. But you go and look inside over in South Africa, and before and the black population, they even make fun of the Sand people. They go and think that they can't read. They think that they live in like huts. And then, if a white person would say that about, one of, the other cultural groups, they say that's racist. But when the black on black, racism in South Africa, that's a thing. That's a legit, that's a thing that's going on over there. But no, this movie, back on to sort of topic, this movie, I haven't seen it myself. And I really, who is it? Marvel?
You're not allowed to see it.
Was it Marvel?
You're not allowed to see it.
Oh, yeah, according to...
You're white. You can't see it. This is their moment, Alex. You can't take it from them. Let them have their moment, okay? See, here's the stupid thing about that. Because they're saying this on Twitter, like to let black people see and have their moment. If no white people come, the movie flops. Because whites make up like 65% of this country. That means if you want a movie to be successful, you have to have a lot of white people seeing it. Okay, I don't care what you're saying, if it's good or bad, whatever, or if it's black or white, whatever. You have to have a lot of people of the majority of the country, of a certain group, seeing this movie, and you're discouraging them from seeing it, and it's going to flop. Do you want that to happen to this movie that you guys want to be like this historical, revolutionary movie? Like, did you see the early reviews? Like, they were saying, like, Black Panther is revolutionary. It changes cinema forever.
No, it
doesn't. What does it do?
Like, geez, they've had black people movies for, like
Blade
for like 50 years.
It was a black superhero.
Like what they had, geez, look at any of those. Who's that one guy who was like who was it? Like
War Machine?
No. It was
Hancock?
No,
I'm naming a lot of black superheroes. You notice that?
Well, not superheroes. I'm just saying black movies in general.
I know, but I'm saying
they
that
have like Tyler Perry movies. Like those are black movies, and those those are pretty popular. They like Get Out, which I thought was a terrible movie.
I still have to see it, but I'm going to see it.
That was a very racist movie. There's like a lot of racist subtext.
Somebody told me that it was actually attacking the left wing racism. Is that true?
Well, like I guess like it's one of the things. If you're you can see the red pill and the blue pill.
Yes.
But like the whole thing, like here's the plot of that movie. Is like there's this black guy dating this white girl. She goes over to the to the parents' house of the white girl, and you can see that it's like this sort of like this like sort of soft racism at first. You kind of think you know where it's going, and then it just gets like bizarre, just like straight up. She's like hypnotizing the one woman, and
it's a horror movie, right? That's what I was told.
I was not scared. Like no, this was not like this was just so stupid plot. This is like one of the most stupidest plots I've seen. It was like, oh, they're going like convincing them like not to be black.
What?
Like, yeah, they like hypnotized them and then like took their like the white people's brains and put them into the black people's or something. It was some like crazy like racist plot.
I gotta see this.
And like that was the only reason the white girl was dating her. So is this like some like is this something like against like interracial relationships? Was that what Get Out was basically about?
It may have been.
This is like, is this so like like racist? It's woke at that point.
It's woke
because I've seen on like Facebook. I've seen on Facebook, and you'll see like these black nationalists, like these super, like far, like, and they go and like look at like the black people, like these black people will go and look at other black people who are dating like white girls, and they'll call them all sorts of like really bizarre and racist names, and like it's so like far left it's right. It's like so far left that it's like ultra right wing ideas. It's like what we have now, and you see these groups, and they're trying to go and import. They want to go and bring back segregation, but like they just want
very progressive.
Like they're trying to go and do that. They want like segregated dorm rooms just with black people. They want segregated like safe spaces. It's just so far
backwards.
Left. It's to the right. It's hilarious, and they want to go and do this to themselves. Like and then they're gonna go and complain like another 20 years. Oh, you enabled this.
It's Trump's fault.
It was like, oh, you're allowing segregation again, but like no, they're the ones who are advocating for this.
Yeah, I know. It's like really annoying because like identity politics for like the past 30 years on the left has been like weaponized and it's like peaked, and then in 2016 Trump shot it down and it became meaningless. But now they're doubling down. They're like, no, we're gonna go harder. We're gonna go and do more of it. Like it's so hard. Like there was one person complaining about Black Panther, like because one of the stills had like 2 females in it. And they were complaining, it was from Gizmodo, they said Marvel misses another easy opportunity for LGBTQ representation with Black Panther. Oh, I'm sorry that
it's not progressive enough.
It's not. It's not progressive enough.
It'll never be progressive enough. Like no matter what you do, they'll always figure out a way to complain about it.
If you don't have a black, transracial, transgender, mentally retarded, lesbian couple, it's not progressive enough.
Like even then, they'll still find something to complain about. They'll say
it's annoying.
Like,
it's
never
enough.
They have to be Muslim too.
Yeah, they have to be Muslim and atheist.
They need an atheist, and then they need like a Buddhist, and then but then that'll be cultural appropriation for the Buddhist. And then you'll need like a like a Hispanic in there. Like at what point does this stop?
Well, that's the thing. Like there's like you said, they call this movie diverse, but it's all black.
Yeah, like you can't do that. Like that's not diverse at all. And then like. I think there was like 2 white guys in there.
Yeah, Martin Freeman, who plays Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit, and some other guy that I forget his name already.
I think he also played in The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
I'll look it up.
I think so. I saw some meme about that.
Yeah. Oh, the Tolkien white guy.
the Tolkien white guy. Like, oh my god, like that. And then like here's another thing too, with that movie. I just like it's not just that movie. It's just like the superhero movie genre.
Oh, has Andy Serkis in it? He played Gollum.
The token white guys. But
my precious. That was terrible impression.
But no,
Sorry.
here's what I think needs to happen. Like, who is this, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Like, you know, just these,
Disney. It's
of
basically
course, Disney. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably the only thing that's keeping Disney afloat. Because honestly, I don't think the last Star Wars movies was all that great.
No, they weren't great, but they
and
made a
they're
lot of money.
and they're like just hemorrhaging money from Battlefront 2. There's hemorrhaging money everywhere from that because no one's buying.
Oh,
that.
yeah, with their pay to win model.
Yeah, and then here's another thing too. Like, I just feel like these superhero genres, these superhero movies, they just keep getting more and more expensive. They keep
And they're
churning
stale.
them out, and it's become the same thing. Like, how many Avengers movies do we need? How many Thor movies do we need? How many like Civil War and all this other superhero movies? I think people are starting like, you know, it's gonna be like what happened with the old Western movies back in like the 50s.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is our Westerns.
This is going to be a bubble, and it's going to burst, and they're going to like spend like $130 million on a movie and get like $3 million back, and it's just going to cause like studios to shut down. And I'll be glad.
No, it doesn't matter. They've already made way more than enough money.
No, but then they're going to go and keep making more and more expensive movies, and you know they're going to keep paying the actors more and more money, and eventually it's like any bubble. It will pop because people put more and more investment into here because they think they'll get a more and more return, and eventually it's going to stop and it's going to end up crashing. They're going to go and like actually come up with unique ideas for once.
How dare they?
Because
Have to be creative.
you know,
for
other
once.
than like all of the movies that have like been coming out, they've all like all the major like blockbusters, quote unquote. They've all been sequels. They've all been superhero
Preach.
movies,
Preach.
and then you get like your, you know, like your Disney and stuff, and even then, like Pixar, like they've been
cranking out more sequels than usual.
Yeah, I mean they do some like an Emoji movie, but that was
They
not,
didn't do that. I don't
or
think.
Pixar, someone did that.
Yeah.
And like then they had that the furry one.
What?
What was that really furry movie with the bunny?
Oh, Peter Rabbit?
No.
Paddington? That's
no,
with the
not
bear.
Paddington Bear. No, it's
I didn't know what you were talking about.
no,
man.
it's that one Zootopia.
Oh,
So, like
that
the furry,
movie.
dude, the furries have been going nuts over
Oh,
that.
have they?
Oh my lord! I was on like I think like 4chan.
That's
the
a
other
very
day,
progressive movie,
and
by
they've
the
had
way.
it is. It's supposed to like be a critique.
Of Trump. Oh, yeah.
No, it
like, 'cause-
wasn't on Trump. It was on Reagan actually.
No. This
No.
is, no.
Zootopia was.
I know this community. They see
No,
it
no,
as
no. Because here I saw who was it? The film theorist or
film
whatever.
theorist, yeah.
His channel's just gone downhill.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
yeah.
Like especially his gaming channel, just like went to like Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's just like, that's all he does. And then like someone makes a critique, and he gets like super offended over that.
Yeah, he gets triggered.
But like no, like apparently it was about like the cocaine thing that Reagan kind of did. Like apparently, you know, this is like some leftist conspiracy theory may have been true. I mean, I'm not like the CPAC guys. I'm not like the, you know, college Republicans where I'll go and like idolize Reagan. Like he did a lot wrong. I didn't like his Dreamers Act. I didn't like he did a couple other things. He passed the Hughes Amendment and the Iran-Contra thing. But apparently here's like with the Iran-Contra, they like paid these terrorists to
Sounds like something Obama did.
yeah, like he paid terrorists and like he had like the FBI smuggle they smuggled cocaine to America and they let them do it so they could funnel money to terrorists to fight the Soviet Union and Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's kind of like, but apparently that's what caused the big crack crisis of the 80s. But you know, like even with that, like to be honest, like you know, if you smoke crack, that's on you. That's on you.
Yeah, it
You
is,
smoke crack, yeah, that's 100% on you for doing drugs. You know, you have agency. We all have agency. We all have the ability to go and make decisions.
What does that have to do with Zootopia again?
But that's no, because you remember what was going on. You watched that movie?
Yeah, I watched it.
You remember like they were like flipping out. They were doing this drug that made them really violent.
Oh, yeah.
That's-
What was
that-
the food they were eating, right?
It was no, they were injecting something. That was an illusion.
They're putting chemicals in the water. Turn
was-
the, you know.
It was a allusion to crack.
Oh, okay.
And like you remember like the one guy, the president of the mayor of the city or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get in trouble, but he was kind of doing it.
The line?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, this is what I saw. And people told me this. What was the main message of the movie? Which is don't be racist, don't judge people that are different. Okay, that's fine. But the way they did it was, oh, a fox is no different than a rabbit. Come on. We're talking about species
that's
here,
the
not
blue-
races.
Well, you can tell what races they were trying to go and like.
I know, but here's the thing. They were doing it when
and
Trump.
it's kind of real. It's like it's another one of those things like the blue pill and the red pill, like the red pill and the blue pill sort of things. And it's like really racist. Like just think about like Hillary Clinton. She'll tell you like who they are because they
Super
were
predators.
They were predators who were the ones who were flipping out. And you can go and see.
Holy crap!
You've seen it now. Like what she was like. That
We're
whole
going
movie
down
was
a
about.
rabbit hole here.
And literally, and like, no, you cannot have a bunny be a good police officer in a, like, what's she gonna do? She gonna shoot him with, like, what would that be? That wouldn't be a 22 to fit in like a rabbit hand. And what, I could kill like a rhinoceros.
And they put her on parking duty. Remember that?
Oh yeah, like come on, like if you have like a can you say midget?
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's say that you have like a midget.
People of height, people vertically challenged.
Person, yeah.
No, vertically challenged people. Be politically correct.
Yes, if you have a person of smaller stature, and you like it's like 3 foot tall, and he's trying to be like a bouncer at a bar. Ooh. I don't think that's gonna work out too well for them. If you have. Like the same thing if you have like a freakishly tall person, it's like 9 foot tall, and you want them like to be a like a Formula One driver. You have like an obese guy try to be a horse racer, like a horse jockey. That's probably not going to work out too well.
No, just ask the horse.
Yeah, geez, they're gonna be like losing like 100% of the time. Like, it has to be like, oh man,
what's the problem here? Yeah, but the thing was, they did this like
they're
made
fat
this
shaming.
Yeah, it's fat shaming. But they did this movie, though, like right when Trump was running and everybody's calling him racist. And people were telling me, like, oh, this movie should win Best Picture because, the themes in it are, this is the right moment.
But
like,
it was about Reagan,
but this is
though.
No, Alex. This is the correct time for this. In the current climate, we need to address these issues because there's an evil man named Donald Trump that's racist and we don't like it.
Oh,
and he's not racist, for starters. But, like, they have this, like, hallucination, and that's what they saw in this movie.
They're doing all the drugs.
They could be.
Well, see, they're not doing the good. They're not doing like the like the drugs that people who aren't so like silly do. Like they're just smoking marijuana. That's all they're doing. They're not like doing anything. It's just like marijuana is just by Lord. It's like one of the most like just degenerate drugs.
Yeah,
it just makes you
all
lazy.
Drugs are degenerate.
It just makes people lazy.
Yeah, that's one of the side effects of it, I think.
It's all it does. It makes people lazy. Like, you do not become a productive person when you're smoking marijuana. Like, some people, they can work fine, but like, no. Like, here's the thing. Coffee, it's very similar to cocaine in terms of effects.
So I shouldn't have it then.
Like, no, that's the thing.
You keep telling me to have coffee.
Well, it makes people more productive. But the thing, like, if you look at the chemicals, they're very similar. They're very similar. But
so it is a drug.
Well, yeah. Well, technically, you could say a lot of things are drugs. Like sugar, sugar is a drug. Chocolate has like traces of caffeine in it. So you've already had caffeine. It's just mixed in with coffee. You've ever had tea?
No.
You never had tea?
No.
You've never had?
No.
You never had sweet tea?
No. I tried iced tea once. I did not like it. I'm weird. I'm sorry.
What the heck do you drink?
Milk and water.
You ever had like soda?
Once, and I hated the carbonation
Oh my
feeling.
God.
I know, I'm weird, okay?
Oh,
are we going to talk about my personal problems on air again? We can. I don't care.
How do you live life without like even drinking like tea?
I just
like you like England so much. Like, do you think how are you if you go to Jeremy Clarkson's
house?
Have
you seen his teeth?
If you go to Jeremy Clarkson's house and it's tea time, and what are you gonna do?
Well, one, I'm probably never gonna
like. Let's say you do like you get like a Grand Tour invites you over.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And you come over to Great Britain. It's tea time, and they all sit down. They get their cup of tea out. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna have to accept it and drink it.
And to go and drink some tea.
I'll be like, I'm not actually drinking it and like put it down.
Oh my God, dude! Like,
no, I would try it. I just haven't tried it. It's like something my grandmother drinks all the time. And then
what's tea? Like tea is it's like.
What's so great about it?
Like, I don't get it. It's something different than water.
Isn't that what like the anime people drink? Like to be like sensei? So like, oh, I'm showing the way.
Oh yeah, the anime people, they do drink.
They drink other things too. Oh, do we have something to talk about? Remember, where you're near Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
they have a this is something Joe Rogan was talking about.
Oh, this wasn't today, but they had a furry convention last year, and I was talking to.
Apparently, this is the furry capital of America, by the way. Like a lot of them come here.
I don't know how often they did, but I had some friends, and they were in the area, and they were telling me Like there was a hotel, I believe, where they had the furry convention, and they had some issues over at the furry convention with people. They dressed in a cat suit, and as a cat, you don't very often see a cat trained to sit on a toilet and defecate into the toilet. They prefer the use of a litter box. So there were issues where they went over and they tried to be, I guess,
progressive.
They tried to take the initiative and they went over and they said, "Excuse me, can we have litter boxes inside the restroom facilities?" And the guys looked over and they're like, "What?" And they said, "Yeah, no, we cannot do litter boxes." And then apparently they were, they were not potty trained cats and they were using the floor.
Yeah. They were crapping on the floor.
And then I believe at some point someone brought in, I don't know if it was them after a time, but they did apparently there were litter boxes that were brought inside.
Jesus. And like Joe Rogan was saying, like also like when they would eat, they would demand that their food be brought to them in a bowl so they could eat it on the floor. What is wrong with these people?
Well, it's not just like a fetish. Like, I can understand,
it's
like,
too
wearing,
far.
like,
it's a mental disorder.
If you wear like, like a fursuit, if you're into, even if you're into like swinging or something, I can understand that. Like swinging.
Swinging?
Yeah.
I can't ask, but like, what is that?
It's like when, you and your wife go to a swingers party and then, you it's like a step above cuckoldry because you're at least getting something. You're getting something.
If anybody's listening, I know we have some audience members that are very interested in that act, and some that have defended it. If you would like to, drop us a line at and discuss that, we'd love to because we've had debates on that.
Well, this is worse.
This is worse because they're actually acting like
pooping on the floor. They're eating out of a bowl. And apparently, like they had this other guy, I think it was Internet Historian. He did their other furry conventions
where they totally wrecked the place.
They were someone defecated inside the hot tub and they clogged the hot tub. They did thousands of dollars of damage. They broke the filter. This wasn't the Pittsburgh. This was in other furry conventions.
And they banned them from that convention. Like they could not have it there again. It was
like the Forest or something, or the Forest, or this was in like
the Fire in the Forest.
It was like it was in, I think, the West Coast, and they got like banned from like a 200-mile radius. Like no one wanted to go and host them anymore.
Yeah, they didn't.
And then they got like busted by the cops because they were doing like drug deals in the parking lot. They were like,
were they hiding in their suits?
And they went to the rooms and there was just like all these. What was it like? They did the nitrous oxide they got from like. They get it from like like the Cool Whip or whatever.
Oh, from the aerosol cans.
There's like aerosol cans over the floor, like used prophylactic devices over there. There was a lot of
naughty behavior,
fernification going on over there. Like, that's just some of the most
so degenerate.
And then like apparently I had some friends who were over in the area at the time, and they was in this area, like they were going to the bars afterwards, and they were acting like goofy and. And they wear like collars and stuff around in public and like leashes. And it's just
I'm thinking of a song lyric right now.
Oh, you should put that on.
I'm a single bird. I'm a single bird.
No.
I'm a single bird. If you can put a leash on it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's a parody somebody made. It's really funny because you can tell the people that made that video were serious, but we are laughing at it. They spent good money. The production quality is
like,
superb.
This wasn't just your like regular troll on YouTube. Like
it's well done.
But like, why do people get into this fetish? What is the purpose of this
I think it's these people that are losers in society.
I have a theory. I have a theory on this.
I'm sorry, you go first.
Okay, so apparently, like if you looked in like the 80s, and these people are all probably like like born in the 80s. Go look at the cartoons that we had in the 80s. Uh-huh. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, My Little Pony. That's a different one too. That's more of a modern thing. But they had like all these like anthropomorphic animal cartoons like back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened. They saw these and they get like, ooh. And they saw this and they'd be like, oh, I want to be a kid again. I like these cool cartoons. Then they had the internet right around that time and they're like teenagers. Like, oh, I really like this cartoon. It's like, ooh, I can go and draw. I'm gonna go and draw, these pornographic artworks involving my favorite characters. And then he's like, oh, I do this too. And then you get this whole like community that would go and start posting these, and people who would be Like, oh, I can one up you. I can go and LARP as one of these characters.
Get on my level,
and
bro.
And I think it kind of grew up with the cosplay community because people would do this because back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cosplay as this, and like, oh, I'm not just Jenny the Fox from Fox and Friends or something.
Paw Patrol, that
Yep.
fascist cartoon.
Or like, I'm not just Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm Tommy the Tourist. I'm my own OC, and this kind of goes into like the Sonic OC, like the furry OC. I think it kind of just all like culminates into the stew of autism. It's kind of like it just kind of like combines, and they kind of bounce off each other, just like these stupid ideas, and then you create this. And it's not just like, oh, and they have to go and one up each other. It's like, oh, because it probably starts like, oh, I can do this in my spare time. And it's like, oh no, I'm a fox. I'll go and walk around this, when I'm going to the mall. Oh, I actually eat with the bowl. And then eventually gets like, oh, I don't just eat in the bowl. I poop in the litter box.
And the thing is, it's like the progressives. Like, you're not progressive enough. You're not a furry enough.
Oh yeah, it's like
you can't just be for an
it's like
hour.
with
You gotta
some
be
of
2
these-
hours.
it's
You
like
gotta be
with-
24 hours a week.
It's like with some of these things, like back in the day, it was like, oh, if you're gay, that was like the big thing. And then now it's like, you
That's
can't.
nothing,
no,
man.
Oh man, if you're not
That's
like
nothing.
if you're not like demisexual, trans pagan,
Vegan.
fat activist, multiracial.
Vor.
Yeah, like it's just gone into like so many things. Like look at the LGBTQ logo, like
AAIP plus never
it keeps
sees
growing
zero.
because it's like it's a one-upmanship, I think.
Yeah.
Because they want to go and be like, oh, I'm more oppressed than you. Oh, you think you're so, and this is probably just like some,
Because victimhood's a currency, and they want to have more of it, and they want to one up each other and add more people to their group because they have nothing else to talk about. But the furries, I think you're definitely right on the fact of the internet, because now niches, like that's the whole big thing with the internet. Like all these niche groups were extremely niche, before the internet because they couldn't communicate. With the internet, they can all communicate, they can all gravitate together and have these conventions. So furries were probably in existence before, but they couldn't come together.
Yeah, well, see, I think it wasn't getting to this like mass level. I think they may have had they may have looked at some drawings.
Yeah.
They may have had some people who engaged in intercourse with animals, but I don't think it became the point where they dress in fursuits. Because if you like, especially even if you're in a big city, you probably want to be walking like
you wouldn't be walking
walk
around
in a fursuit. Like, dude, like
you'd get shot.
Like especially back then, like New York used to not be a very nice place to live. Like they used to have
Still
like
isn't.
it was a lot worse back in I think it was like the 80s.
They
used to have like strip instead of like Times Square used to be like either like strip clubs and liquor stores and like check cashing places and like burlesque shows, and now it's like a tourist attraction. They have like Times Square and it's all like super hip. But back in the day, it used to be you wouldn't want to go there. Like it was a seedy place. It was not the sort of thing that you just want to go to. But back then, and that may have had something to do with like why you didn't see these furries, and it'd be harder to communicate because they embolden each other, and it's like you don't want to do it if you're the only person involved. Like and with the internet, you're never the only person involved. There's always someone out there to, fillet you with words. They go and like make you feel better.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I support you. Oh, you're awesome.
Power to you.
They want to go and like join you, and then you have these stupid ideas, and that's what the internet does. It can be a force for good, and oftentimes it is a force for good. But then you get these stupid things like we wouldn't have had the Tide Pod challenge if it wasn't for the internet.
Oh God! If only we had more time to talk about that. Sadly, our hour's up. But yeah, the Tide Pod challenge was pretty stupid. But yeah, people stop being stupid. Get out of your fursuits and get out in the real world and stop being a loser. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more real news.